Figured it out. Can you guys hear me okay? Hey, let me know if you guys can hear me and see me. There it goes. Hey guys, thanks for the technical support. Haven't done this before with a live audience. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. All right. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, I just turned the laptop volume or the sound off so we didn't have that echo. All right, guys. So I'm Steve with My Honey's Handmade. Welcome to the shop. Today I'm going to give you a shop tour. Let me check my notes here. So just to let you know, I'm a full-time furniture maker, cabinet maker, woodworker, and laser engraver. I've been doing it full-time. April will be 3 years full-time. So I'm still figuring this out. I worked in IT for 22 years. Got really tired of the stress, and during COVID, I made a change. Hey, Ray. Hey, Joe. So is there still an echo, guys? Okay, we'll keep going. So anyway, I made a change during COVID. I'm chasing one of the passions I have, which is woodworking. And we're still trying to make it work. It's getting better each year, trying to get the name out there. And I started YouTube a couple years ago, and really, at first I was like, oh, let's get monetized. But honestly, it's neat going back, seeing what I built 2 years ago and what I've added. And then the last few months, the Bearded Viking woodworking group, embraced me, and we got a nice group that supports each other. So that's been fantastic. So the community aspect is happening for me. So let's get to the shop tour. I'm just holding this with my hand, so bear with me. I don't have a great camera; it's just a phone. Let's flip this around. All right, guys. So I'm in a 576 square foot shop. I had it built almost 6 years ago. I thought about doing it myself, but I could have probably done it, but I wanted it done quickly. So they built it in April. I had the spray foam installed in July when I was pouring sweat. And then insulation, just fiberglass insulation. I did the walls. And here we go. So here's the biggest addition to the shop. A year and a half ago, I bought this Thunder laser. This is what fuels a lot of my Etsy online shops and a lot of my craft shows. These, some of my videos you've seen of these lake maps, I custom make the frames, pour the epoxy, and customize this text. So it's a very personal gift. I plan on making a video about how laser engraver can change your business or your hobby, mostly from a business perspective. So this has been a real game changer. This is 1,100 pounds. I had to have a friend from church bring his forklift from the front yard to the backyard, and then me and another buddy had to build a little ramp to roll it off. So it doesn't stay there. I'm sorry, it doesn't move. It's on casters, so I can move it out if I need to. But as soon as I got that, right before I did that, I put my outfeed table on casters as well, because sometimes I have to move this. And then I put my jointer on wheels as well. So here's the laser. I'll talk about it more in depth. If you have any questions about it, yeah, just hit me up. My email address is myhoneyshandmade@gmail.com. It's also in my description, I think. So now one thing I forgot to mention, the laser was used. If you guys saw that linen cabinet and vanity I made in the last 8 weeks, I designed that in Lightburn and designed templates because it had radiused edges. It was a really difficult piece of cabinetry. So I used that to cut my templates and then flush trimmed it. All right, so now we've got all my wood storage. Most of these are just scraps. I mean, I've got a lot of oak, there's some cherry, a lot of walnut, and then a lot of different, I make a lot of craft show items, so I mill my own wood. Then I've also got these are some sheet goods I use. This is really, I only use this for current projects. I have a 10 by 16 shed that's full of my sheet goods and maple and elm trees in the yard, so I harvest those logs when I trim it to save it for vases and everything else. So, all right, next we're going to check out my Ryobi press. I think I bought this like 5 years ago. I'm pretty happy with it. Haven't done any videos on it, but it's pretty easy up here to change the speed. To be fair though, I mean, you're supposed to change the speed for all those Forstner bits. I really don't most of the time. But the only problem I ever have, this little plastic depth stop broke a few times, so I ordered 2 or 3 online, and I was sure to adjust that accordingly. Then we've got my nice charging station. I'm pretty happy with my Ryobi pin nailers. I might do a review if anybody wants a review of any of my tools. I'd be happy to do a review. That's just the charging station. That's what holds it up and charges it. Miter station, I've had the DeWalt, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I've got a long table on each side, so I can actually fit a 10-foot board, which when I go to the lumber yard or have wood delivered, it's typically in 10 to 12 foot lengths because I buy it rough and mill it myself. It saves a ton of money. It's not like going to Lowe's or Menards or Home Depot. You know, I mill it, I joint it and plane it myself, and you save a lot of money that way. So it's not surface 4 sides or 3 sides. It's usually just straight line ripped. But this is where I process that and cut it. Next we have my outfeed table. This guy is 8 foot by 4 foot. I bought this from a place downtown that was shutting its doors, and they had a big warehouse full of these. It was like $40. This is my cool vise. I got this from a flea market for 25 bucks and added some leather. I use that periodically. Now, here are some current maps and projects. Cutting board. One thing I did, I installed some T-Track, which I used to use, but this summer I did a project where epoxy leaked everywhere and filled up my channel, so I don't use that anymore. So honestly, it's about time for a new top. I was thinking about using some black melamine or some type of melamine. All right, here's my table saw. DeWalt DWE75. I've had this since I was in my teen shed. This is the second table saw I've owned. My first one I bought 6 or 7 years ago off Marketplace. It was a used Ryobi. The fence on it was horrible, but I made some, you know, pretty good projects on it. This one is fantastic. I have 0 complaints. I've beat it up. I've accidentally sawed it in a few spots. I do some epoxy pours on it. I've abused it, honestly, but I love it. And I thought I could get a bigger saw, but I build dining room tables as well sometimes. So I actually have to move this, and a lot of times move the outfeed table closer to the door so that put the dining room table over here to finish it, stain it. Sometimes I do it on top of that table, but it's so I still, you know, last year I thought I might upgrade this, but I still need the portability. I've just got a shop vac underneath with the Dust Deputy from Home Depot. Works pretty well. I used to have this IVAC switch, so it would turn on the vacuum when the saw started and it wouldn't trip a breaker. I've got, but one of my circuits tripped and fried that, but works really well. But I would highly recommend this table saw. The fence is really great on it. I can cut up to 32 inches or more, like 33 inches. And I use the dado stack pretty often. So yeah. Yeah, it's got a nice arbor down there, so you can, I use the dado stack very often. It just depends what I'm doing. Most time for cabinetry. So I'd highly recommend that if you don't have one, or if you're in the market for one. Let's talk about my sanding table. Behind all this wood, sorry if it's jumpy or shaky, guys. I'm holding this by hand. So behind this is my sanding table. This is what I started out with, one of those Harbor Freight $68 sanders. I don't use it anymore. I got this rigid secondhand, and it's fantastic. So I don't ever use a Harbor Freight. Now this little Harbor Freight sander works really well as well. I still use it, not as much as I thought I would. And then before I got the rigid, I had the Win oscillating sander, but I don't use it either. I really need to clean this whole table up. And you know, to be fair, this is kind of clean for my shop. I'm a production shop, so I can sometimes juggling 3 to 5 projects at once. I need to also add some dust collection over there. Hey, let me see if you guys have any questions real quick before I keep going. Yeah, Night Owl, I'm set to work tomorrow. I hope you're talking to me, I'm not sure. Sorry, I was just checking comments, guys. Appreciate your comments and liking and following me. Appreciate it. So let's talk about my, let's see, sharpening cart, or we'll talk about the joiner. This is my joiner that I added wheels to. If I'm doing small pieces, I just leave it where it's at. Otherwise, I'll pull it out. I've got a ceiling mounted extension cord to feed the center of this area. So I'll just pull it out. This is great. I had a central machinery one that I busted because I did something stupid. But this has been great. I don't even know what kind it is. And then I used to do a lot of wood turning on the lathe. 2.5 years ago is when I bought my first little laser. A couple of slow speed grinders. Anything about wood turning or not, the slower speed, so you have less friction, which means less, so that you don't ruin the temper or the strength of your tool. So kind of different sharpening systems on it. I really built a couple of years ago, and I would use so I'm going to do an upcoming video in the next month on Bearded Viking. Guys, appreciate it. Got a blade that I haven't changed out. I haven't used it in about a month. This is a workhorse. This is one of the hand tools I bought a few years ago. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm losing. I haven't done any lives out here. I'll have to get that fixed. Yeah, this Porter cable 14-inch bandsaw is a workhorse. Had it 3 or 4. First got it, I was cranking out charcuterie, cutting 1.5 inch thick wood. Here's a little epoxy I did last night to fill a void in a cherry cutting board I'm working on. So here's some more wood storage. This is more of my exotic. When I got these tools, my buddy sold me all of the exotic woods. So I have a lot of different, you know, Purple Heart and stuff I've never used. Crazy expensive bold blanks. I'm really waiting for special projects on most of that. Some miscellaneous slabs. And then here is I don't use this lathe very often, as you can tell. This is one I got from my buddy when I got all those tools. It's an older jet, 12-inch swing, meaning, you know, like a 12-inch bowl, pretty much. And then it's got the bed extension, so I can turn legs if I want. I just don't have a need for it mostly. I just use it occasionally. This is the lathe I use. This is my Jet 1221 VS. I think I bought it 4 years ago before COVID, so the price was really reasonable. I think it was $700 brand new. That was my second lathe. My first one I bought on Marketplace for like $200. I had to use a crescent wrench to adjust it, and the motor burned out within a few months, so I ended up buying this, and I love this. Got quite a few different tools. I use a lot of the carbide as well, different hollowing tools. If you guys have any questions about any of the tools, feel free to message me or ask, and I'll do a video on them. But I've got a lot of the carbide tools, but I also use a lot of the traditional, bowl gouges, different scrapers. So it's fun. Being on the lathe is cool. And so here we have the drum sander. I would highly recommend that. Love it. I use that all the time because I plane my own wood, and what I'll do is make the wood thin enough to where I can cut it on the laser, and make really cool hardwood designs on the laser. This is the planer Daniel was talking about last night in his live. I like it, but he's got a point. I think it requires more maintenance than I'm aware of. It does sometimes like to stick, even if your blades are sharp. I mean, I'm on a second rotation of blades on it, and it sticks sometimes, but you're supposed to like wax the bed, etc., etc. But how I've got my shop set up on this side of it, I've got a boom. I saw this on someone's channel like 6 years ago, so I made my own. So it extends my dust collector. So it extends the dust collector to where I'm in the center of the back of the shop. So I basically have a magnetic quick connect. I found a guy on Etsy. They are he actually made me a custom set because his weren't strong enough, so he redesigned it and got bigger magnets and more magnets. So this one works really well. And I really only use the big dust collector for those two pieces of equipment, but I think you kind of need it. Here we have a Harbor Freight dust collector. I've had it for like 6 years. Love it. The one thing I upgraded, I replaced their bag with a PowerTech. That's because the PowerTech has a smaller micron rating, so it's going to filter out smaller dust than the stock bag, so you get better protection for your lungs. Another thing I've got, I don't know if you guys use these wind air filtration systems. Highly recommend that. Now, I still wear a respirator. Like, I won't do, oh, here we go, hold on. Leveling screw boats, I have springs on them. Ooh, yeah, I bet you're right, Joe. Every time I change the blades, I'll vacuum out all the dust and I'll lubricate everything. So I try to keep up on that. But yeah, the wind air filtration works pretty well. But I would recommend, I think Amy Jo talked about this in the last couple of weeks on one of her lives. I wear a respirator. If I do any cuts in the shop or if I'm running the laser, I'm wearing a respirator. I'm wearing eye protection, ear protection, and a half mask 3M respirator that filters out particulates like a P100 mask. So, let's see what else I've got. Now, for heating and cooling, I've got a, what is that, 12,000 BTU mini split. It works great for air conditioning, but when it gets colder than, say, 35, 40 degrees, it's really not enough. So a couple of years ago, I bought this ceiling mounted heater. This thing is on, I think, medium, and I'm keeping the shop at, this says 70, but it's actually probably 75 or 76 degrees in the shop. That thing keeps it as warm as you want it. I think I got it at like Tractor Supply. And I'm in Oklahoma. I don't know where you guys are at. Comment below what states you guys are located in. But I'm in Oklahoma today. We got a little snow this morning, and it's going to be like in the low teens this week for lows. All right, guys. Let me check my questions here in my comments. Sorry, I've been checking those guys. Possum, come on, you know what that is. Respirator. He might have been serious. Yeah, it's a mask, Possum. I started out with one of those, I think was it called RV? They just slip on, but yeah, the dust mask is a lot better. Alabama. Well, I don't think you're too cold, are you, Joe? I was gonna say possums in Illinois, I bet that's pretty chilly. Ireland. Hey, across the pond. Thanks, Night Owl. Well, cool, Possum. Glad you're here. The filters for the Win, Ray, I'll put a link up. I'll put a link up on the, I don't remember how much they were. I want to say they're like 20 or 25 for a set of 2. But what I do, typically, especially in the summertime, the one thing I found out about these mini splits, I have a weekly checklist in the summertime where I clean those and vacuum them out once a week, because it locked up on me, I don't know, probably 5 times. I had to take the whole thing apart, clean it. And, you know, you've seen some people where they make an pre-cleaner or pre-filter. So, and I have to clean that. But the filters, I take those off. That one's due, but I take them off probably once a month, once every few weeks when I think about it, and I blow them out and reuse it. And I'll do that a few times before I actually buy the replacement. Because it adds up, man. All the consumables, when you're doing this full time, it's amazing what you can spend on tape or clear coat or glue, you know. Yeah, 21's not too crazy, Possum. Oh, wow. 12 inches of snow. That's crazy. We got a dusting. We didn't have anything stick today. And the rest of the week looks pretty clear. All right, guys. Any other questions you have for me? Anything else I could show you? That's kind of my shop in a nutshell. That's where the magic happens. This is that new toolbox I got like a week ago. I had an old red Craftsman, like 15 years old, that gave up the ghost. And this thing, read some reviews, it's awesome. I really like it. So, yeah. And here, if you guys haven't checked out my other video, here is see if I can get a good shot. Here is that push knife, draw knife I made on the lathe last week. I put up a video. This is the first time making it. I was pretty happy with it. I've had the idea for years because I really hated throwing away the planer blades. So I saved those and I wanted to recycle them. It worked really well. Hey, Ray, I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. It means a lot. So, yeah. So upcoming videos I've got, I'm going to come up with a dust shroud for the miter saw. You know, I've got one of these automated switches again. Ooh, Possum, that's a good idea, detailing bows. Nice. But yeah, I'm gonna make a dust shroud for this in the upcoming weeks. That's one of the videos I'm gonna be doing. I get dust everywhere, and it throws your cut off, you know, because you're getting all the wood dust here. But also, it's getting everywhere. It gets in the outlets. That freaks me out a little bit. So I'm just trying to make this a little cleaner. So I'll be doing the dust shroud in the upcoming weeks. The rafter storage for the grinders. I've got a new hand plane. It's called a box making hand plane from Lee Valley. I just got it a few weeks ago, and honestly, I haven't had a chance to unbox it. I've been cranking out orders. So hey, Electric Whittler, what do you do? The electrician that did this for me didn't account for the thickness of my walls. So how do I seal that? I'd love an idea. That's been on my to-do list forever. I'd love to seal that to where it's protected and more safe. You know what I mean? I asked him about it, and he didn't. He just kind of blew me off. So that's when I had the shop built. Yeah, Ray, that miter saw is horrible for dust collection. I've got a shop vac underneath it, but I don't even have it hooked up right now. I had to take this on the job site a few weeks ago. But yeah, possum, I guess I could overlay. I was thinking about laser cutting some covers, but I don't know. It's like it kind of needs to be reversed because it's so deep. I mean, this is like 3/4 inch OSB, so I'm not sure. I mean, it's been 5.5 years that way. I'd really like to clean it up though. And honestly, you get a lot of colder air through this too. So I might check that out, Electric Whittler. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's a good idea, guys. If as long as it has enough slack back there, man, I'm not the electrician guy. I hire someone for that. You know, that just scares the crap out of me. So I've done I think the last time I worked with electricity, I was showing my son how to test a ceiling fan, and I blew a circuit, or I blew the ceiling fan up because I did it wrong. I'm not great at electrical. Man, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. That's fantastic. All right, guys, what else you got for me? Anything else you want to see before we call this one? Plastic cover for outdoor sockets on a hinge. Ooh, that's actually a pretty good idea. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. Thanks, Possum. Oh, I'm sorry, Night Owl. Plymouth ply. Thanks, Whittler. I'll check that out. Cool. The buck I wounded in camera, huh? What? All right, guys. So that's my shop. If you guys have never done a shop tour, this is my first one. Do one. Let me know, and I'll attend your live. I'd love to do collaborations. If anybody wants to do a video together or anything else, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, man. Yeah, Possum, I'd like to see that 12-pointer as well. That's awesome. See you guys.